Blizzard lead leaves because they suck. Xbox revenue falls. Gollum has a new release window, and Atlus has Soundtracks streaming. Extra, extra, hear all about it! Hey guys, welcome to the podcast of Titans. I'm the Dean of Games, the Dean Slater on all platforms, and joining me is twitch.tv/LMJ the Hitman, Landen.
I'm the smallest Titan.
So how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm still waking up. Even though I got more than enough sleep, for some reason, my eyes just want to stay half closed today. So other than that, my brain's mentally here, my eyes and body is not.
Yeah, I'm looking outside right now, and the snow is now finally starting to pile up. It took long enough. The news forecasts were all like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna start happening at 1 a.m." It's now 8, and it's just finally starting to happen.
Yeah.
But from Twitch's graveyard, we have Gavin.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I don't know. I'm tired. I'm sore. I hate life. Work sucks.
Yeah. Yeah,
I have
understand that.
14 more days of this shit.
Ew.
Wait. Hold on. 14 more days.
Yes.
That doesn't add up to 3 months.
Shut up. I'm not doing 3 months.
That, we have a coworker that has a record of 3 straight months working, and we're trying to convince Gavin to break that record.
Whew.
So, as I mentioned on the intros for everyone, we all have Twitch. This weekend was one of my best streaming weekends.
Hey, okay.
Got 3 followers in this weekend, which, I've been streaming for over a year, and I just crossed 30. So that's how hard it is to get followers. So getting 3 followers, pretty nice. And then at one point this weekend, I had 11 people in my stream.
Nice.
And that's not even including my 2 views.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I actually had 13 people in the stream if you count me twice.
Let's go.
Nice.
So I'm making it in the world. Now I just need to do that consistently.
Right.
Anyway, enough about Twitch. This is Extra Extra, your weekly gaming news podcast covering the news leading up to Sunday, January 29th, 2022. And if you like us, you can go to patreon.com/thebriefing-room. Let's get to some news. There's a lot of yuck to tread through today. And I didn't even see a story that I just listened to at work, which I could have included, but didn't. Did you guys hear about Xbox has subpoenaed Sony for information about their games for the discovery period of this court case against the FTC. And so, if any of that information leaks, we'll know what Sony's planning on releasing.
Yep.
Okay. But anyway, the first story we're going to talk about, Blizzard lead fired for appraisal system. His name is Brian Birmingham. He's been a lead software engineer at Blizzard for 17 years.
Sheesh.
Damn.
the appraisal system in question is a stack ranking method, which grades staff on a curve, and managers had to give low scores to 5% of their employees. And he was fired because he was forced to lower an employee he viewed as successful down to developing in order to meet the quota of low scores needed. This caused them to miss out on a bonus they would have gotten otherwise. And I have this mistyped. And less likely to be considered for promotion or raise. Because of this. So Birmingham had sent email to the staff saying, when team leads asked why we had to do this, the World of Warcraft directors explained that while they did not agree, the reasons given by executive leadership were that it was important to squeeze the bottom-most performers as a way to make sure everybody continues to grow. This sort of policy encourages competition between employees, sabotage of another's work, and a desire to find low-performing teams that they can be the best-performing worker on, and ultimately erodes trust and destroys creativity, is what he had to say on it. And he has a big thread on it on Twitter, if you go to @BrianBirming. But yeah, wow. I'll let you guys get to your thoughts on this story.
Oh, I mean, what? Blizzard doesn't know how to put out good news anymore, so that's firstly, like I'm fairly certain there's somebody in there that's sabotaging from the inside in a good way, like just shedding light on all these things that just clearly have been prevalent for a long period of time. Oh man, like I said, they don't know how to put out good news, and this ain't good news. And the whole part of this is to hold them accountable and shed light to these.
Yeah.
The evil side of this industry, man. It's almost like if there was an Antichrist of video games, it's either EA or Blizzard right now. I'm telling you.
Yeah. EA's gotten a lot better, but no. I will say Blizzard did not put out this information. Bloomberg did, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on it, Gavin?
People are just fucking shitty, man.
They're shitters, dude. They're shitters.
Fucking shit, bro. Nothing but a bunch of shitters.
Yeah, no, for real though. There is just. All right. Good Lord, what is going on with my throat? This. You know what? Just give me a second.
One thing I will note about this story is good on Brian Birmingham, though. He lost his job fighting for his employees. More managers need to be like that. So,
yes.
I think I propose, I bring this to the table for your vote. I propose that we make Brian Birmingham friend of the show.
Okay.
Do I get a second and a yay, nay?
I know. I mean, yeah, let's do it. I'm fine with it.
All right, friend of the show, Brian Birmingham. But no,
show and mascot.
Well, Matthew's our mascot. We have one.
Oh, that's right.
Even in school, I thought grading on a curve was a shitty thing to do. Because in theory, it's supposed to be beneficial, because the whole grading on the curve is the grade is based on the top performer. So the idea is if everyone's around the same place as far as their education, they'll all pass because it's based on the top performing. But what he was talking about, what what grading on a curve and for both work and in school does is it causes people that are above what they need to pad out their grades, their GPA, all of that by going to a class that they are, a little bit ahead of, and just taking the grade and pushing everyone else down. So it's supposed to be beneficial, and it ends up being the system ends up being worked by people that shouldn't be working the system, like what he was talking about, where they will find low-performing teams to be the best-performing worker on, and sabotaging another person, so that way they get worse rankings and stuff. It's a shitty thing, and we had a similar conversation at our own job, where it was based off of attendance, and my thing is, at least with attendance, there is no manipulation, as far as you just look at, okay, how's their attendance look? Oh, their attendance is great. I understand that, someone could just be a shitty worker and come in every day and get a raise, whereas someone who has issues in their life but is a hard worker, I understand that line, but at least it's somewhat in the employee's control rather than like with this where it's based on, the leads, and the leads are required to put people down.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the same way within the sense of, I work my ass off, but I was damn near fired. They had to save my job because of my points. Whereas we have people that have, no points or 1 or 2, and they fucking suck so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know. Plus, plus I get all these points and all that stuff, but I also do work overtime. So it's not like I'm just working my normal days and then accumulating points on top of that. I'm working overtime and then accumulating points.
Yeah.
Attendance is not the main factor of what makes a good employee. There's other ways to show up for your company.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I understand that it should be based on performance, but performance is so... performance can be manipulated through favoritism or whatever.
Well, see, I was talking to one of our team leads last night about how, I think it'd be cool if say you got a point or whatever because you missed a day. Okay, what if you offered to work 2 days, that you normally don't work in order to cover that point?
Yes. Hey, let me just make up that shift.
Yeah. It's it's not even you're making up,
or you get 2 weeks to be able to make up that shift.
Yeah, you get within the pay period.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But because say if I had taken off last week at some point, and then I worked tonight and tomorrow, that would take care of that point. Not say don't obviously don't do it to where it'd be oh yeah, you lose you miss a shift and then you work one shift and it's covered. Because then people are just going to do that all the time, just come and go whenever they want. But if you make it to where they miss a shift and then they have to work 2 shifts in order to make that up, people are either going to be less likely to miss work, or 2, you're going to get more work out of them.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and move on before we get too much into our work. But I will say there is a story that I want to say real quick to Landen. You already know about it, Gavin. But Landen, I sent the text of the person in question. But they have great attendance. But they've worked there longer than me, and they asked me if they loaded the printer correctly.
Oh no.
You know what's funny? That was exactly the person I was thinking about when I mentioned, me having shitty attendance.
Landen hates them too. Me and Landen have had conversations before and after the podcast about this person, which is why I sent him the text. He knows who they are. Did you see it?
Yeah.
So enough about Blizzard. Now on to the company that bought them. Xbox revenue falls. And this is for the holiday quarter this year compared to last year. Content and services fell 12% and hardware fell 13%. They said content and services revenue was down based on a strong prior year comparable with declines in first-party content and low monetization in third-party content, partially offset by growth in Game Pass subscriptions.
I'm going to mute myself for a second because I'm going to try something.
All right. Basically, they still have a lot more Game Pass subscriptions than they did before, which is offsetting the rest of the services being down because they put out a game for the holiday quarter compared to, and that was Pentiment, which is arguably a much smaller game, compared to Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite last year.
Yeah.
In October, they predicted that they would drop to the low to mid-teens, so they're on track for what they predicted. And this follows news last week that Microsoft would lay off 10,000 people, including those at Xbox Studios.
Sad. So sad.
Yes. So, I mean, they knew they were gonna lose about that amount, so like at least it's not, I say at least, you know, it's well within what they were expecting. You're a little robotic, but we hear you.
Hold on.
You're better now.
Like, can you hear me clearly though?
Yes.
Okay, so like do you hear any of this?
No.
I don't know what this is.
No? Awesome. Okay,
Yeah,
I was trying to figure out whether my Bluetooth headset had a mic somewhere built into it, or if it was just going based off my phone mic, but I could hear it through my headset. And I was like, I don't know if you're gonna hear this rustling around my pocket or not. Because I don't want to like be in here and you just hear for me walking.
Yeah. Oh man. So got any thoughts on this, Landon?
Well, I think his mic sounds great. Is that what we're talking about? I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Hell yeah!
You do sound pretty good though. You do sound a lot better.
That is the news.
That's the news. There's the news for you right there.
Awesome. So wait, it actually sounds better than before. I even put the headset in?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
better.
I'm gonna start using this more often. Fuck it.
But for real, the news though.
The
news. Shut up, Landon. I lost track where I was at.
Xbox revenue down.
Yeah, no. It's just like Dean said. It's just got to do with like what they're releasing. I mean, when they got their, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. Although they weren't huge haymaker exclusive, studios and games for Xbox, they've been putting out crazy amount of exclusive games deals for Game Pass. And this last year, not so much. So I think it's just because it's like it might have been a little bit of a down year for Game Pass. That just means that this year will be that much better. Those numbers will turn upside down here soon. It'll be completely opposite of what we're reading now, probably by the end of this year, or well, this time next year. I still have faith in Xbox.
Yeah.
Those got really quiet for a second.
Yeah,
It's a long pause.
I was-
I opened up my phone to make sure I didn't get kicked out of the call.
No, I was fidgeting with the nearest item on the desk, which happened to be a stapler, and I stapled my thumb.
Oh,
Dude, ADHD brain, I get it.
So I had to get up and get something to apply pressure with. So
That's one.
yeah, no, it sucks, and we had this discussion earlier, and it's still really disappointing to me that they're going through all these super expensive lawsuits and everything over a $69 billion acquisition, and they still laid off 10,000 people. That just sucks. There is no excuse for that.
none.
And I was talking to someone, and they were like, "Oh, well, these companies are all getting super bloated, blah blah blah." It's like, that's still individual people. Like, if they got too bloated, then the issue is that they need to stop hiring, and eventually these people will go and find other jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, send them our way. We need the people.
Oh yeah, I think they're a little overeducated for what we do, but
Nah. What are you talking about? I'm the smartest person that works there.
yeah. So how's that high school degree treating you?
You mean that GED, motherfucker? Your boy dropped out. I was too smart for that shit. To be fair, I did get my GED on a second-year college grade level.
Yeah.
So for a high school dropout, I'm pretty smart.
I'm of course teasing you. I love you, Gavin. Yeah, and the other thing is, where the fuck is the games?
Facts.
They're coming, man. They're
They
coming.
have like 30 studios. Where the fuck are the games? Why did they only put out one game for the entire year last year?
Literally, Bethesda alone should be putting out 3 to 4 titles a year, and that's on the low end.
Yeah. It's one of those things we keep saying, one of these days the dominoes will fall.
Uh-huh.
Where are these dominoes?
I'm trying to find the domino. Where to start pushing the dominoes over? Force these dominoes to fall, please.
The next game they're going to release now is just going to be like virtual dominoes. That's it.
It would not surprise me.
Like, where are these dominoes? Here it is, bitch.
The game Dominoes exclusive for Xbox.
Well, speaking of not releasing games, we're going to go to Lord of the Rings Gollum has a new release window. This is from Nacon? ? Who's a co-publisher of the game. They did confirm the new launch window, which is anywhere from April to September.
So the whole year. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's like 6 months.
The game was announced before the next-gen consoles were even announced. That game was announced.
Yeah.
They announced it for next-gen consoles before Sony and Xbox even said, hey, we're making new consoles.
Mm-hmm. It's, of course, developed and co-published by Daedalic. And it follows Gollum during the events of Fellowship of the Ring, which is the first Lord of the Rings book/movie, in case none of you are Lord of the Rings heads out there. And it was originally set to release in 2021. They announced it in 2019.
Wow.
You want to know what I think the issue is? I think, because, like, you gotta think, when it came from, like, I'm a PlayStation kid, so I'm gonna use PlayStation as an example. When it came from, like, PS3 to PS4, not much had changed other than games got a little bit bigger and they got a little bit better looking. But over the course of the PS3 era, there was just so much innovation happening with the PS3 games in general to make them bigger and look better. And that's kind of like their experimental era to figure out how things work to make it better and better and better. Then they went to PS4. And everything pretty much stayed the same because they're like, this shit's great. But now they're hit PS5 and like, okay, now it has to be bigger and better. But they have no prior experience or know how to make it bigger and better. And so things are taking longer because they are having to figure it out as they go without breaking shit.
Halo, Perfect Dark, Gears of War, that makes a lot of sense. These games are taking a lot longer than they normally would. Halo took several years to make, and then when it came out, it wasn't even a full product.
Yeah,
It's
because
not
they're trying to do too much without knowing how to do all that without breaking something. So I'm sure they're probably going through it and like, fuck, this broke. Now we gotta fix this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that. Just a lot of games analysts are out there saying games are now too big to not fail, essentially, where the development time, the guy who broke the Blizzard story, he was talking about how, his name's Jason Schreier, he was talking about how games that have just started development this year won't come out on this generation. That's how big these games have gotten. How I don't know if bloated's the right word, but I'm going to use it. How bloated these games are. I mean, think about how many massive open world games there are now.
For sure. And how long they take.
Yeah. But that's not necessarily everything either, because remember, Switch not exactly the biggest graphics as far as the the market. They don't have the best graphics. So, but Metroid Prime was announced in, what was it, 2017, 2018, and Tears of the Kingdom has been worked on a little bit in 2017, but really got after the DLC in 2017 for Breath of the Wild, really got the ball rolling. But they started before that. So 2017, Breath of the Wild is just now, or Tears of the Kingdom is just this year coming out. That's 6 years. And then, Metroid Prime, it's still being worked on.
Some more food for thought. During the time of, between like PS3 and PS4, shit like that. Yeah. There were so many, like, just in general technological advances. Because I remember, like, back then I started off with a little fucking flip phone, and smartphones are kind of fucking unheard of at that fucking point. Or not unheard of, but like, we're like, you had to be bougie to be having a fucking smartphone and shit. And now it's like, if you don't have a smartphone, then like,
hey, that homeless guy out there has a smartphone. What are you doing?
Yeah, like, here's like the amount of technological advances that happen. We just jump from one technological era to another in a span of a decade.
Yeah.
And now it's stagnated.
Yeah.
We're not making as big of a jump as we were before, but these game companies are probably so used to that, making such big fucking jumps, and now they're trying to make big jumps without the equipment or the know-how on to accomplish those big jumps.
I don't think they're ready or have the experience to make these bigger games in a shorter period of time. Halo came out, and we're most likely not going to get another Halo this generation. Gears of War came out in 2019, or technically last generation. It's 2023, and there's still no announcement or word on the next Gears of War game. So these games, you're right, like, we're going to get one a generation. We're not going to get, there's no way we get a trilogy. There's a reason God of War Ragnarok ended that series. There's only 2 games in that series, because if they were to make it into a trilogy, we wouldn't see the third and final act of God of War, the new one, until the next generation of consoles. That's just not right. That's not right.
Here's the thing. If you really think about it, like, these game companies, they have this idea in their head that they have to make everything bigger and better and bigger and better, and they really don't. Like, there are so many games that I've played that are just so simple and so like Cult of Land, for example, super fucking simple, but a huge success.
I totally agree with you, but there are people out there I know because I've had to get into fights with them on the internet about it. That say if the game is not 120 hours doing all the side quests and stuff, it is not worth the $60, and that was prior to them making it $70.
That's not fair. That's not fair. A good game can be short. A good game can be extremely short.
I agree. I'm just saying there are people with that mentality. I also don't want.
I don't remember how many hours. I don't remember how much I spent on Cult of Lamb, but I will say that I spent 30 hours on that game on one playthrough, on one single playthrough.
Yeah.
There's 2 different endings that you can get, so that's 2 playthroughs. There's 60 hours right there. If you get, and then I haven't even gotten all the achievements or all the unlockables or anything, and they have events that come out, and they're still working on more content and stuff, but like. Again, I don't even think I paid $60 for that game. I think I paid like 40 or something like that for Cult of Lamb, and I've gotten, at the very least, the bare minimum for just the basic gameplay, 60 hours.
Yeah,
which is already half of what they're talking about. Then you got all the unlockables, all the little side mini games, all the achievements and such, all the different ways that you can grow your character and build out because there's sort of like a tree branch system going on there. Like whenever you unlock a new commandment or whatever, you get you get one of 2 options. So there's a bunch of different mix match gameplay that you can go with there. Plus it's a farming simulator at the same time, which you can design that however you want to in many different fashions. At one point, I wiped my entire fucking all my people except for 3, deleted everything, just cleared out my entire base, and then just rebuilt the base because I was bored and wanted to do it.
Indie games is where it's at.
I do like indie games.
This is definitely the era. We are definitely in the era of.
I don't want to discount by not bringing it up. How much, surprisingly, the game industry was not ready for COVID. They were not ready for a work from home setup. And that definitely caused a lot of issues. I don't want to discount that either for a lot of the releases that are coming out this generation. Many of them will have been delayed because of COVID. But that was a great conversation, and I almost wanted to take you up on your conversation about how you can extend gameplay with achievements and stuff, but I know me and Landen could have a long discussion about that.
Changed my life.
But that's something we're gonna have to find a time to discuss that on this podcast, because I know me and him both have a lot of thoughts on achievements and trophies. So we'll figure something out like that at some point. But we're gonna close out this with some positive news. Some of these stories were kind of icky. I think the Gollum one was kind of a fun one to talk about. We really got into the nitty-gritty of games now, which is fun. But now we're going to talk about some positive. Atlus.
Oh, well, I'm out. See ya. I don't do
Atlus has soundtracks streaming now. I don't know if they had some soundtracks prior, but we'll get into that at some point. They have 5 game soundtracks that are streamable. And that is Persona 3 Portable, Persona 3 Dancing Moonlight, Persona 5 Dancing Starlight, Persona Dancing P3D, and P5D soundtracks Advanced Edition. Man, they really know how to make music album names.
Sure.
And Persona Super Live P Sound Bomb, 2017.
I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Blame Danny.
streaming services include Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music, and Amazon Music. And yeah, as far as details about the soundtracks, they have remixed music from the games that they're from, along with new mixes from other artists. And then Persona Super Live P Sound Bomb 2017 is a live album from a 2017 Yokohama concert that was done. So, I don't have it written down, but I do want to give you some context to why this is. I put this as a story. Atlus might be even worse about how they view streaming than Nintendo is. So that's your context for that. So what are your thoughts on all of this?
I feel like I need to get into that franchise because I'm tired. I'm so tired of being like, I don't have the time, or I appreciate these games from a distance, and I'm tired of appreciating it from a distance. I'd actually like to get into these games. Persona 3 Portable, I was told, was a great entry point to the series because it's like the least amount of time out of all of them that takes to beat, and it's portable. So,
well, we say that having not played it, Persona 3 is Portable is the one where you can choose to either have a male protagonist or a female protagonist. And from what I understand, the story changes depending on the type. So you basically, to get the full story, you have to play as both protagonists. So it is smaller, but you also have to play as two different people.
Okay.
Also, Persona 3, kind of a problematic romantic relationship in that game.
Oh, really?
Not that Persona games necessarily have... All Persona games have problematic relationships, but this one is particularly problematic because you're talking about... It's as the girl protagonist. The protagonists are both like 17 years old. And as a 17-year-old, you can date like a 10-year-old.
The fuck?
Yeah. Not good.
Interesting.
I would say so.
I say that because the new Fire Emblem has there was some conversation about that recently as well, because there was a relationship taken out of the new Fire Emblem game. They changed it up for the American release, and so it brought up the conversation of adaptations. And the main character, also 17, you can date an 11-year-old. Not great. Keep that shit out of here, Japan. We get it. Your age of consent is young.
Leave me alone, Dad.
The rest of the world understands that children aren't to be dated. Quit doing this.
Well, most people do.
All right, we're not talking about your dad here. Anyway, so yeah, it's great. Having only played Persona 5, it is a great franchise. But yeah, there's some things that are problematic, but also, yeah, total time sink. Luckily, I had watched people play Persona 5 first, because I was like, I'm not getting a PS4, so I'll just watch this person play it. And so when I was playing it, I got to a part and I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. This is like an hour of just cutscenes. So I just fast forwarded through all the cutscene because I already knew what happened. But yeah, the Persona 3 Dancing Moonlight and Persona 5 Dancing Star Night, those are dancing games based on those two games. I think it's interesting how much they're pushing Persona 3. It almost makes me want to think that maybe they're actually like doing a remake of Persona 3.
Hmm.
Because like I said, it's Persona 5 is on here, which obviously that's the big one. That's the one that people know. It's the one that brought this into the mainstream, this franchise into the mainstream. Persona 3, there is no definitive version of Persona 3. Because there's Persona 3 Portable, which adds the female character, which adds context to a bunch of new stories and everything. But you can't explore the worlds, and there's some other issues that happen from them porting it to a portable system compared to where it was before. So there is no definitive version of Persona 3. Like, for Persona 4, Golden is the definitive version of Persona 4, and Persona 5 Royal is the definitive version of Persona 5. There's nothing for Persona 3. So it's interesting that they have more Persona 3 stuff here than they do Persona 5. And all the advertising, it's Persona 3 over Persona 4 Golden. From what I've seen from ads and stuff. But yeah, no, music's great in the series. Best part of the series, honestly, is the music. Got any thoughts, Gavin? I've kind of ignored you.
No, because a lot of it I blocked out because I was busy telling Brandon happy birthday.
Oh. So what do you, Gavin, I know you're a big music buff. How do you feel about their soundtrack names? Would you rank it in the album naming conventions?
Hold on, let me just pull up something real quick. Seeing how as let me go. Okay, it's that band. Okay, da-da-da-da-da.
Hey, the video
Okay,
I
what's
started.
up?
What's up?
Which? Okay. Let's see. Considering that, when it comes to bands I listen to, especially especially in the metalcore scene, bands that used to be pop punk are more metalcore now. Let me just read you, I'll tell you how this will tell you how I feel about those names when I read off some of the names that I listen to from this one band. This song is called "I'm Made of Wax, Larry. What are you made of?"
Fucking bomb song right there.
Mr. Highway's thinking about the end. Another song about the weekend.
Wait,
And then another song
are
about
you
the
doing
weekend
all the
feature.
same band? What's happening
Yeah.
here?
Those are those. Hold on, let's see what I can find more of.
While you look at that, I just want to say I saw some funny interactions on Twitter not too long ago. Because, it's the 50th anniversary of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon.
Mhm.
And so they put out a logo with number 50 and then a rainbow coming out of the 50 or whatever. They had so many people commenting, "Oh, you're going woke now? Like, I can't believe you support stuff like this." And it's like, there was a rainbow in the Dark Side of the Moon. It's their 50th anniversary of that album. What are you talking about?
Jesus.
Here's some more. This ain't a scene, it's an arms race. Or one of my personal favorite names. A little less 16 candles, a little more, quote unquote, touch me.
Wow.
Oh, here's a good one. I'm like a lawyer with the way I'm always trying to get you off. Oh, here's one of my favorite ones of all time.
All right.
Our
let's
lawyer
hear
made
it.
us change the name. Our lawyer made us change the name of this song so we wouldn't get sued. So that tells you how I feel about the names of those albums. Like,
yeah.
like long, strange names is not a foreign concept to me by any fucking means, and I'm perfectly okay with it. It's something that I'm used to at this point.
Yeah. So anyway,
Wait, Landon. You said are you doing? You're just like, are we doing it all by the same band? What's going on here? Can you name the band I was talking about?
I have a tattoo of them. Yeah, Day to Remember. What are you talking about?
Hell yeah!
Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
So anyway, that was our show. I hope you liked it. If you did like it, or if you didn't like it, make sure to do all of the things like hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and hitting the bell at the XofPlays on YouTube, or giving it a high rating on whatever podcast service you use, so you can find like-minded people. Be sure to tell people what.
I was gonna say, and if you didn't like it, just talk shit in the comments because that still feeds the algorithm.
Increase the algorithm.
Get in the comments.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. If you didn't like it, hit the like button, rate it 5 stars on any podcast service, and because then you can find more people that hate it too.
Hey.
I just changed it up a little bit because we used to say that all the time, and James made a comment about how we asking if we are the people that like pain. I forget yeah, if we were masochists.
Don't ask me
So
how I know that off the top of my head.
Well, you and James are the same person. No.
I'm only a masochist to myself.
But anyway, be sure to tell people about the show. Word of mouth is the best way to help us grow. And I brought it up before, but on patreon.com/thebriefingroom, you can financially support the show and get cool rewards as well. That's all from us. Take care.